Writer-director John Hughes assembled 5 of today's finest young stars for Universal's new film, The Breakfast Club. And the result is an extraordinary acting ensemble.
I like actors that can work, in an ensemble and are serious about it, and aren't thinking about money or People magazine covers, I mean, I like that are actors because they like to act, and their motivation in life is to become a better actor.
Emilio Estevez has appeared in Tex, The Outsiders, and as the unforgettable Otto in Repo Man.
Well, I think in a previous life I was involved in the military in some way. I have this regimented, very disciplined way about myself, where everything is very neat. My room is very neat. My clothes, I lay down on the bed in the morning before I take my shower. Everything is very planned out, except my acting.
Judd Nelson studied and worked for several years at the Stella Adler Conservatory in New York before making his movie debut last year in Fandango. The Breakfast Club is his 3rd film.
I really respect the work of these actors. I've seen them all do other things. And it's a thrill for me. I feel sort of like I've broken into a candy store or something, a toy store.
Molly Ringwald made her feature debut as John Cassavetes' daughter in The Tempest, a role that won her a Golden Globe nomination. Several films later, she starred in 16 Candles, where she met John Hughes, who invited her to join the Breakfast Club ensemble.
They're all very special people, and I kind of consider them kind of like my family, and that you don't, relatives that live in a different area that you don't really see that often, but you have a special bond. That's the way it is with all of us, because we were really stuck in detention. Only it wasn't 8 hours, it was 2 months,
Ali Sheedy performed ballet at Lincoln Center at age 6. She wrote a best-selling children's book at age 12. At 20, she broke into feature films, starring in both Bad Boys and War Games in the same year.
We're almost at the end of shooting, so now when we work on scenes, there's almost like a rhythm that we fall into with each other right away. It's kind of like being in a play that's been running for a long time.
Anthony Michael Hall got his first big break when Steve Allen cast him in his autobiographical play, The Wake, as a young Steve Allen. Michael has appeared in such films as Six Pack, National Lampoon's Vacation, and 16 Candles.
My sister Mary and my mother Mercedes are playing my mother and sister in the film.
Is this the first time or the last time we do this?
Last.
Well, get in there and use the time to your advantage.
Mom, we're not supposed to study. We just have to sit there and do nothing.
Well, mister, you figure out a way to study.
I just grew up around it, It's something that I tried when I was young, and I've been lucky enough to consistently work, been working since I was 8 and a half.
Not since American Graffiti have so many gifted young actors come together in a film that lends itself so well to demonstrating their talents.
This movie proves that you don't have to be 40 to be a good actor.
The Breakfast Club. John Hughes, writer of National Lampoon's Vacation and Mr. Mom, earned critical acclaim in his directorial debut, 16 Candles. Now, with The Breakfast Club, Hughes has solidified his reputation as an actor's director, forging an unforgettable ensemble of 5 of today's hottest young stars.
I have just as many feelings as you do, and it hurts just as much when somebody steps all over them.
God, you're so pathetic. Don't you ever compare yourself to me, okay?
From the start, I always thought it must be a terrible thing to be sitting there and have a camera on you, and there's 100 people around, and the sticks go, and it's all up to you, and to put any more pressure on someone than the pressure that's in that situation is foolish, and I should do, one of my jobs as director would be to lessen that pressure.
He's a director who really kind of lets you fall into the part and come into it on your own, and whatever you can bring to the role, he's really open to.
I have as much obligation to let them try something as they do to let me try something with them. And once you get that trust, you do anything.
I admire John because he is a writer, and yet he's not really overprotective about his work. You know, he's real good about letting people come in and kind of form their own character.
John Hughes is great. I mean, I don't think that I can say enough about John Hughes. I think that his priorities seem to be with the performance. He takes a great deal of time to discuss with us what it is that he wants, what it is that he thinks we may want to achieve in a scene.
He's got a lot of different levels to him and things. He's very enthusiastic about the work, and he's got a really creative, quick mind, which I really like.
Well, Brian, this is a very nutritious lunch. All the food groups are represented. Did your mom marry Mr. Rogers?
No, Mr. Johnson.
I think that a lot of times between takes, it's important not to think about it too much. And I mean, I like sort of a natural approach. One regret I have is that this shooting movie is so expensive that when you get the laughs on the set, you know, you gotta, because I mean, that's the best, you know. You've got all these people standing around, you get the laughs.
He is the Norman Rockwell of movies. I mean, in the best possible sense of the word, he is in touch with the public. He creates an environment in a world that is John Hughes land, which doesn't exist really anywhere else and doesn't even exist in America, but that everyone can identify with.
These people are, by design, 5 people who hopefully cover everybody there is. I mean, you will either be one of these characters or will be combinations of them, but you'll see yourself. Everybody will see themselves, and these are sort of universal characters. When I go up and write a script, I fall in love with these characters. I love these characters. I mean, I create them from scratch, and they're my, you know, my people.
John Hughes, writer-director of The Breakfast Club. Editor Dee Dee Allen has put together such classics as The Hustler, Little Big Man, the groundbreaking Bonnie and Clyde, and 2 films that earned her Academy Award nominations, Reds and Dog Day Afternoon. Her latest film, Universal's The Breakfast Club, showcases the talents of some of today's hottest young stars.
It's a story basically about 5 kids and how they behave and how they feel. And I had to kind of find my way into these kids in terms of how they would behave, how they would interact with each other, and how they would develop. And so I cut it actually in continuity, which is something that I love to do when I have a chance, particularly with a character story, which this is.
What's that?
Sushi.
Sushi?
Rice, raw fish, and seaweed.
You won't accept a guy's tongue in your mouth and you're gonna eat that?
I knew that in the end of the script, for instance, there would be certain relationships that would gel. Well, how do you plant the seeds for that? Who looks at who when, how? Well, that's the kind of thing you have to think in terms of story and character constantly.
Why'd you do that?
I knew you wouldn't.
You know how you said before how your parents used you to get back at each other? Wouldn't I be outstanding in that capacity?
What's wonderful about this particular group of young actors is that each one of them is talented in a kind of a different way. And they're growing. They're just, you know, you can see them grow in front of your eyes.
Chicks cannot hold their smoke. That's what it is.
Someone like Michael, for instance, who's totally intuitive. I have no idea how much training Michael's had. I have no idea how much training any of these kids have had, except that I get the impression that someone like Judd Nelson and Allie and Emilio are more classically trained or have had theatrical training. The way they think in terms of character transitions and all. But the wonderful thing was that as an ensemble group, you could see some of this rubbing off, and young people are so bright and they're so open that they're not rigid yet, and they haven't developed those terrible defenses that people develop in life through being hurt, I think, and through trying to protect themselves. So what happens is that you begin seeing a scene play between two actors who might not be coming from the same place, and suddenly they're doing the same thing, but they've reached it by different means.
And this is the worst fake ID I've ever seen. You realize you made yourself 68?
I know. I goofed it.
What do you need a fake ID for?
So I can vote.
This was the first time I'd seen a script about particularly high school kids where they took them seriously, and the kids began to take each other seriously. And it interested me.
The Breakfast Club. When the boys came home from World War II, Hollywood rallied to restore their lost youth by inventing a new genre, the youth picture. These films were churned out by the hundreds, from the 50s beach party films to the feature-length rock videos of today. But at each stage, there were standouts, unusual, provocative films that appealed to both teens and adults. Films like Rebel Without a Cause, The Graduate, American Graffiti, and now, The Breakfast Club, written and directed by John Hughes.
I'm a nymphomaniac.
Very nice.
Are your parents aware of this?
The most apparent difference is that it all primarily takes place on one set. It is about what people think and say. It is not about having fun or leisure or getting girls or any of those traditional themes that these pictures deal with, which is not to say that this is, inherently better. I think it's just a different look.
It goes beyond stereotypes, which is something that I think a lot of filmmakers don't. It's just the women, how women are treated in most films. I mean, I can't imagine that girls come out of those films going, yeah, that's how I act. I mean, it's distorted.
I think Michael's right in a way that we aren't. Allie and I are not portrayed as these bombshells that just have no brain whatsoever. I mean, we're intelligent and we're real.
You don't often see in movies where young people are displayed in an honest fashion.
It's all the slow kind of unraveling of these characters and people tricking each other, faking each other out, and then getting to trust each other.
It's a real careful examination of the intellectual side of that age group, which is considerable. I mean, I think kids think far more than their parents.
The Breakfast Club. In high school, we all ride the emotional roller coaster from adolescence to adulthood. The chaos of this transition is ignored by most youth pictures. But in Universal's new film, The Breakfast Club, writer-director John Hughes has finally brought the issue into the open.
Well, I think it's a real crucial time in your life. 13 to 18, everything changes. It changes very rapidly. And the choices that you make at that age really determine what happens to you the rest of your life.
My God, are we gonna be like our parents?
Not me. It's unavoidable. Just happens.
In high school, you are stereotyped. What are you? You are this or you're that. You're a jock or you're a princess or you're a brain or you're a wimp, And you, a lot of times, will go along with that perception. You reinforce it. That is really the plot of The Breakfast Club. Who are they and what is wrong with them? And they find out that they're very similar.
What's bizarre? I mean, we're all pretty bizarre. Some of us are just better at hiding it, that's all.
It's just real hard to be that age. I mean, you're living with people that still regard you as a child, and you feel like an adult, but you're really treated like a child. And it's very confusing, I mean, people don't pay attention to you, they don't listen to you. It's very hard to be that age, and it always has been.
John Hughes, writer-director of The Breakfast Club. Everyone has a high school memory whose vividness defies time. A banner day that never fades. A prom. A prank. A playoff game. In Universal's new film, The Breakfast Club, John Hughes has taken 5 of today's most talented young stars and brought them together for just such a milestone event. As unlikely as it may seem, a day in detention.
What is this? What is that? What is that? What is that noise?
Really, sir, there wasn't any noise.
In high school, you are stereotyped. You know, what are you? You are this or you're that. Emilio Estevez is the jock. Molly Ringwald is the beauty. Anthony Michael Hall is the brain. Judd Nelson is the rebel. And Ali Sheedy is the recluse. But one of the points of this piece is that these people are not the stereotypes at all. And you have to be something, you know. It's very important to identify with something and have an identity. And that's really what, at the heart, this is, you know, who are these people?
I'm a nymphomaniac. Very nice.
Are your parents aware of this?
Chicks cannot hold their smoke. That's what it is.
In high school, you know, it's very easy to think that to do something outrageous to get the acceptance of your friends, even if it's going to cost you dearly later on, you'll do it.
Do you guys know what I did to get in here? I taped Larry Lester's buns together.
Oh, my God.
I play a high school wrestler who's like the #1 wrestler, probably in the school. He's state champion. And he's trying to find himself. He's trying to break out of this incredibly cumbersome environment that he's been thrown into. And he does in the film.
I had worked with Molly on 16 Candles, and I liked working with her very much. She's very intuitive, very instinctual. It's very natural. You know, I mean, Molly didn't need to take classes. I mean, Molly was just born an actress.
What's that?
Sushi.
Sushi?
Rice, raw fish, and seaweed.
You won't accept a guy's tongue in your mouth and you're gonna eat that?
Claire Standish. Basically, she's the girl you grew up hating. That's why I wanted to play her, because, you know, 16 Candles, Samantha was so, you know, real and down to earth and insecure and everything. And Claire was just totally different. She was real confident, the homecoming queen, and very, very dirty rich. It was kind of a challenge, you know, to find some kind of sensitivity or compassion or intelligence or anything. And they're all there. You know, I have just as many feelings as you do, and it hurts just as much when somebody steps all over them.
God, you're so pathetic. Don't you ever compare yourself to me, okay?
Judd Nelson's audition on Breakfast Club. He came flying into the room, completely in character, said hello to me in character, did all this stuff, was gone in 10 minutes. And I said, no, that's my guy, you know?
Well, Brian, this is a very nutritious lunch. All the food groups are represented. Did your mom marry Mr. Rogers?
No, Mr. Johnson.
Huh. John doesn't create a fearful environment. He creates a more open, willing environment. He doesn't necessarily let us do everything that we want to do, but he does allow us the freedom to fail. And I believe that when I have the freedom to fail, then I can take more chances with my work.
Anytime you're ready, pal.
I don't want to get into this with you, man.
Why not?
Because I'd kill you. It's real simple. I'd kill you, and your parents would sue me, and it'd be a big mess, and I don't care enough about you to bother.
Chicken shit.
I like actors that can work, you know, in an ensemble and are serious about it, you know, and aren't thinking about money or People magazine covers, you know. I mean, I like that are actors because they like to act, and their motivation in life is to become a better actor. It's like Michael Hall. Michael has a way of talking that if he reads the lines, they sound like lines. But if he takes the essence of it and jumbles it all up and throws it out, it's great.
I know it's kind of a weird time, but I was just wondering, what is going to happen to us on Monday when we're all together again? I mean, I consider you guys my friends. I'm not wrong, am I? What makes John so special is that he hasn't, he really understands, and he appreciates, and he's real sensitive, and more than anything, he understands kids and teenagers and kids in my age group, and he hasn't forgotten what it's like.
Not Cherry.
When have you ever gotten laid?
I've laid lots of times.
Name one.
She lives in Canada.
Allie's character revealed herself very slowly. In the first half of the movie, she probably says 20 words. When she would go through transformations, we couldn't really remember what she was like before.
Hi. You want to talk?
No.
Why not?
She's afraid of letting people see what it is that she's thinking or feeling. And so she pretends a lot, and a lot of what she says is actually a lot of lies.
I'm not a nymphomaniac. I'm a compulsive liar.
You are such a bitch.
You're just pissed off because she got you to admit something you didn't want to admit to.
Okay, fine, but that doesn't make it any less bizarre.
What's bizarre? I mean, we're all pretty bizarre. Some of us are just better at hiding it, that's all.
These people are, by design, 5 people who hopefully cover everybody there is. I mean, you will either be one of these characters or will be combinations of them, but you'll see yourself. Everybody will see themselves in these sort of universal characters. I believe in a happy ending. I really do. Everybody gets what they deserve, what they fought for. You know, it's really about fighting for an identity. You know, and these people, whether or not this group of 5 will ever go on to anything else together, it doesn't matter. Is that they touched each other in some way.
The Breakfast Club.